I got this lovely piece of 2012 Ford Edge in here. I'm going to put a master cylinder in this. Alright, this thing's buried really good, so I got to get some stuff out of my way. I'm going to disconnect this mass airflow sensor. There's a little red tab under here you need to pull back. Push something in somehow. You got to pull back on this tab and you push in on this, and that comes unplugged. Okay, there's a screw back here I'm going to take off. There's a little breather hose here, I can pull that off. A couple clips here. And, ooh, something else. Ooh, there's another little thingamajiggy here. Unplug that. This here hose-a-majiggy's got a little tab underneath. I can't really show it to you, but you push in on it. It's plastic. You can pop this off. Okay, I got a little more room. I can almost see something. I'm going to take this battery out of here next. Ooh, Can-N filter. That's fancy. You know, I always see these filters. They're all crusty. And there's no Can-N filter oil in here. People always put these in dry. That's a huge no-no. You never do that. So that's retarded. The best filter in the world is a paper filter. Every manufacturer uses paper filters and they use them for a reason. That thing doesn't give you more performance. The only thing that does is make your engine dirtier because it doesn't filter as well.
And you can clean it, put it back in.
Yeah, it's reusable.
Yeah.
Right. You know, there's fairy tales from Walt Disney like Cinderella too. This is an 8mm. This is the battery hold down bolt. I'm going to take that all the way out. And there's a little plastic thingy that's always attached to it. And I got some 10mm. Always do the negative first. And make sure it's not touching the terminal when you take off the positive either. Alright, I got a little more room here. I think I can get at this now. Okay, this thing's crammed in here really good. I think I can get at it though. You probably should put a drain pan or something underneath here. I don't have anything I can put under there though, because there's no damn room. So I got a bunch of old crappy rags I leave laying around. I'm just gonna stick a whole bunch down here to soak up this brake fluid because it's going to get a little messy. Alright, there's a clip here for the brake fluid level. You should just be able to push that in and take it out. I have line wrenches. You might not need to use them. This is a 15mm. A lot of times these come off really nice. So most of the time you can just use a regular wrench. I'm not taking them off yet. I'm just getting them loose. I want to take these off last. I got a 13mm on a 3-foot extension. There's 2 bolts for this. I'll be taking out of here. Yeah, just a swivel on a 13mm. Okay, I got one of those. The other one's on the inside. Down on the bottom, I can barely see the thing. Well, this is nice and loose. You see, the trick is here. I'm going to try to do this without bleeding out the lines. I don't want to get any air in this system. So basically, you know, since shit runs downhill, you want to make sure that these lines are pointing up. Usually all the older vehicles, the lines point up. Sometimes they go down on newer vehicles because the manufacturers are stupid and they don't really think about anything, well, the mechanical aspect of actually fixing the car. But if these lines actually pointed up, there would be no way for the air to get down into the system. So you wouldn't have to bleed out the whole system. The only thing you got to do is bleed out the master cylinder, put it on, and get a little squirt of air come out of both of these. And that's it. But these lines are kind of retarded. I'm seeing more and more of this with the newer manufacturing. I might bend these lines just a little bit to try to get them to point upwards, because I really don't want to have to bleed this entire system out. I'm going to try to pull this out, and there. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go in this way, but see, now they're pointing up, so that's good, because nothing's going to come out of the actual line. Everything's going to come out of the master cylinder. Like I say, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them back in this way, but I'm going to try to bolt them on just like this and pop the things in so I can do a workaround these horrible engineers that don't talk to mechanics anymore. I'm going to get this wire out of my way. That might help me a little bit. Now you kind of want to get this out of here as fast as possible, because this master cylinder will start dripping all over the place. I want to leave a cap on it too, because that'll keep it from coming out so fast. See, they're kind of pointing upwards, so there'll be just a little bit of air in here. And when you bleed it, I'll show you how to bleed it. It should squirt a lot of that out, I hope. Okay.
Still leaking.
It's still dribbling. I don't care. They decided to use reverse Torx on here. It's an E7. I'm going to get under here with a pry bar, and ever so gently. That's not going to work. I think I got a pry bar right here. Ooh. Just kind of try to pop that out like so. And there's your junk. Now this bad boy I'm going to put right in the vise, and they give you all kinds of brake bleeding stuff and hoses, and well, as far as I'm concerned, this is like brake bleeding for dummies instructions. We don't need instructions. Real men don't use instructions. So I'm just going to put this in the vise with the caps on here. Well, there's lubricant on here already, so I don't need to lube this. So I'm just going to toss this reservoir right on. You just want to walk it around until it pops in. And it's usually fairly easy and simple, and there it is. Put this funky pin back in here. Okay, now what I do, I'm going to turn this vise like so. I'm going to fill this thing up. You want to get a screwdriver or something to poke in here, and you want to just work this, and you'll see air coming up. And you just want to keep working this until all of that air is out of there. The way they want you to do it is to put fittings on here and put hoses back in here so it cycles everything. But when you do that, you get millions of little air bubbles in your system, and then it just keeps pumping bubbles, little tiny bubbles through everything, and I don't like doing it that way. So usually when you do this, you can get all the air out. It'll just keep pumping it out, pumping it out. And I can still see the stuff coming up. Yeah, if you leave it sit, sometimes you do that a little bit, and that'll kind of move all the air up to the top. I probably got about 1/8 of an inch of play in this rod, and it just stops, so I know I got all the air out of it. that's all you need to do. So don't follow them Mexican instructions, or whatever they are, because that's great right there. And I can just leave them caps in there until I feel like putting them lines on. Okay, I got the caps on, and I got the cap on the top so it doesn't drool out too fast. And I'm just going to stick this in here, and I'm going to try to start these one at a time. Hopefully this will go as good as I want it to. Yeah, it's dripping just a little bit right now, and that's fine because it's going to help bleed it out, because this line's facing up, and whatever air's in here, hopefully it'll just make its way to the very top of the cylinder and bleed the thing out just from gravity. I hope. I got to get the rod from the brake into the back of the cylinder. I can get my finger back there. And yeah, I got the rod in the hole. That same hole I used to push on a screwdriver to bleed it out. And then I just got to line these there up. Get these nuts started. Get my 13mm on the junk. Tighten these bad boys up. I got a helper here, so what I'm going to have them do is get in the car and just push on the pedal really lightly. And I'm going to open these up, and I'm just going to dribble some fluid out of here. You don't want to use a lot of pressure, just a little bit. And it'll just, if there's any little bit in here, it'll help get it out. So I'm going to start with the back one first. Go ahead, push it down real nice and easy. Yeah, see, I saw some drippies coming out of there. There's air. There, now it's solid fluid. Okay, hold it there. Okay, now we'll do the front. Go ahead, let it down nice and easy. I didn't really see any air come out of there. That one's good. Okay, this thing's all put back together just that easy.